Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course brought to you by New Earth One Network. Today, we have a beautiful course from the sound lady, Kathleen Nagy, who's talking about harmonic aura clearing. This is beautiful because it is a way to strengthen your auric field with your personal chakra harmonics. We're going to learn more with Kathleen Nagy. Hello, Kathleen. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Lauren. Always a pleasure to be playing with you with sound.
Certainly fun.
Fun to play with people who really enjoy it. When you ask visual people to play with sound, they're like, "That's not playing, that's work," you know. But when you're working with sound, people are like, "Yeah, let's really listen to that." So, what a couple of things that I want to talk about today in this webinar. But I've just written a book called Humming for Health. And in the book, one of the chapters is on listening. Because as sound people, we all enjoy listening. We make sound because we like the way it feels to hear it, right? We like to play with sound because it feels good in our bodies. And what I want to do is talk about aspects of listening that help us increase our consciousness, make everything vibrate at a higher frequency. And listening really is, what is listening but receiving a sound, right? You set an intention. Now, listening is a very feminine, very receptive thing, right? So to be a really good listener, you set an intention, and then you go into a receptive state of mind where you're willing to receive. And that's kind of the easiest part, all right? The harder part is the patience to wait to hear the answer or to wait to see the result, of your intention. But so you wait, you're patient, you receive something, you're willing to receive something, you wait, you're willing to trust that it's going to come. And then when it comes, you trust it. You trust, no matter how crazy it sounds or feels, it's about trusting what your intuition is telling you. And the hardest thing is the fourth step. It's acting on it, actually manifesting it out into the world. Those are kind of the four stages of listening. And I wanted to sort of tell you a story that demonstrates this. In the book, I have 4 miracle stories where miracles happened. And I wanted to just do a section of the book here to give you an example of how this whole listening process goes and what the reward is at the end. This is a part of the chapter of the book that has to do with miracle stories. And this miracle story is called Keepers of the Grid. So I'd been in Santa Fe, for a couple of months. I just moved there from Massachusetts, and I was really feeling at home in that energy. It's a very magical place. I was meditating every day, and in one of those meditations, I had a, knowing, and that's when I call it, when sort of all of a sudden I know something for no logical reason, but all of a sudden I have this knowledge that I don't know where it came from. So I just call that a knowing. And it's not like, I heard a voice say anything. It was just a feeling. Again, just being receptive in that meditation. It was just a feeling. It was something that said, maybe you should pay attention to this. And so I did. But what the inner feeling and prodding was I needed to get to a bookstore. I needed to find a New Age bookstore because there was a book that I was supposed to read. I thought, well, this is going to be a fun adventure. Right. So I started asking my friends in Santa Fe, where's the New Age store? And everyone said, go to the Ark bookstore. So the next day off from work, I drove over to the Ark bookstore. I loved that, the Ark. And I got into the bookstore, and then all of a sudden I realized I have to pick out one book from this entire store. But I just kind of moseyed around, put out all my antennas, and just started feeling and receiving. And I ended up after about an hour with a book by Greg Braden. And it was his newest book at the time. It was called Deep Truth, Igniting the Memory of Our Origin, History, Destiny, and Fate. So I said, okay, I'm going to go home and start reading through this. This is exciting. So I read the first couple of chapters, and I'm thinking, well, this isn't really speaking to me the way I thought it would. Maybe I picked the wrong book, and I started to doubt the process, but I kept with it. I stuck with it, and all of a sudden, there it was. Greg was talking about a trip that he had had to Chaco Canyon in the Four Corners area there of New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. They all come together. He just said that he was walking out on the land, and he could feel the crunch of the crystal sand beneath his feet. And when I read that phrase, I said, oh, I just got goosebumps again. It was like goosebumps. It was like ding, 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 ding. That really spoke to me. And I knew there was something that I was supposed to do in Chaco Canyon, but I didn't know what. So I went back to the bookstore. I said, okay, now there must be another book here that's going to tell me what I'm supposed to do in Chaco Canyon. And I ended up with a book that I took out by Dolores Cannon, who's a famous medium. And this was her latest book called The Three Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. What a read that was. So on page 427, I found what I was looking for. There was a short chapter in the book that Dolores said she felt compelled to insert into the book, even though only a few people would be interested in it. She knew there was a small group of people on the planet who needed to see this information, and she called this chapter Keepers of the Grid. So after reading it, I knew I was one of the keepers of the grid. Who knew, right? But I had a job to do. So I was supposed to go to Chaco Canyon and reactivate the portion of the Earth's crystal grid that had been damaged eons ago when Atlantis was destroyed. This crystal grid network that had been all around the planet was in grave need of repair, because we are once again experimenting with that dark matter, with the colliders and putting the Earth in danger again. But with the crystal network restored around the planet, the Earth would be able to activate her third strand of DNA, which would take her and all of us into this new evolving fifth dimensional consciousness. That's our destiny. So I was supposed to go to Chaco Canyon and reactivate the broken part of the crystal grid there. Great adventure, right? Okay, so I know it's going to be a long day. On my next weekend off, it's a 3-hour drive from where I am to Chaco Canyon. So I figured 3 hours there, 3 hours back, X amount of time during the day to do what I was supposed to do. I said, okay, I brought some snacks. I brought my French horn. I brought my 7-chakra drum, a pendulum, a video camera, and lots of water. So after that long ride, and at the end of that long ride is the last 12 miles is a dirt road that leads into the canyon. And it's like very, very bumpy. So you're really happy, when you get through that 12 miles and you get there. But the direction that I had received from the book said that this sort of crystal repair work was always done near water. And I'm looking around at like desert. There was no water here anywhere. Uh, there was an ancient culture that had lived there long, long, long ago, but it had been abandoned for years. So I sat and I meditated for a while, and during my meditation, I actually felt that the people of this ancient city weren't gone at all. They were still there. They were like in a parallel dimension. I could hear children and people talking. I was at a water's edge. Men were fishing. I could see that was once a thriving community around a large mass of water, and it was. That used to be called the Great Inland Sea, thousands and thousands of years ago. So at that point, I'm satisfied that the etheric water I was experiencing was proof enough for me, and I was now confident indeed that I was in the right place, though I didn't know where to go. So the next step of this, listening, being receptive, I pick up a map of that whole settlement and I use a pendulum. And I put my pendulum over the map to see if I could get a yes to any place to tell me where to go. I'm eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I'm checking the map with the pendulum, and I finally do get a yes. The pendulum says I'm supposed to go to the hieroglyph rocks. Okay, I could do that. That was going to require that I drive for a ways to get close, and then I had to walk about a mile inland, deeper. And so I just drove over there and I picked up my drum and my horn and my camera and I started off into the rocks, and I got to the hieroglyphs. They were amazing. And I decided to record the whole session. So I set a camera down on a rock, kind of pointed at me, and then started filming myself. I sat down on a rock. I started to play my drum. I was calling the ancestors and asking for help for this task because I didn't know what I was really supposed to do. I knew I needed all the help that I could get. There was a storm brewing off in the distance to my left. It stayed just far enough away that I had time to do the work. So after I played the drum for a while and asked the ancestors to come and help, I took out my horn and I started playing harmonics on the horn, these very complex chords that really sound otherworldly. So it kind of fit in that place. I had long understood that sound can create a space within which miracles are possible, within which alignment is possible. And all my job was to create that space with my music and my drumming. So I finished playing my horn. I started to chant and sing. At one point I got up, I walked over to the rocks, the hieroglyphs, and there was a crack in the rock. And I started to sing harmonics into the crack of the rock. And after about an hour, I knew the camera was going to, stop recording soon. So I just walked over and picked up the camera, and I kind of was panning to the left, where the storm was just about here. And again, another intuition. It's a listening, not like I heard a voice, but I had this prodding that said to me, pan the camera to the right. And I take the camera away from my eyes and I look over to the right, and there is like nothing there to see. I don't understand when I'm supposed to be panning the camera to what, but okay. I put the camera back up to my eye and I pan to the right, and the camera sees what my eye can't. The camera sees a crystal beam of white light going from the earth up into the sky. I was just like blown away. I checked it a couple of times. I moved the camera away. I looked, there was nothing there. I put the camera back, there it was. So I have all this up on YouTube. There's actually a video that I posted there. And you can definitely see that there's this beam of light, a beam of crystal light. I mean, much to my surprise and amazement. But I guess I had accomplished, what I had gone there to do. I put it all up on YouTube so that people can watch it. It's called Chaco Canyon Activating the Earth's Crystal Grid, I think is actually what I called it. And the whole process was really a miracle. So my meditating, my listening, trusting, that silent feeling, those intuitions to follow through. And I felt like I was really able to be of service to the earth. And that's an important part of working with sound, is not just making sound. The point is listening is very, very important too. So let's see, listening to what? The work that I do, for the most part now, is teaching people how to hum the sounds that are good for their bodies. And it's really all about using your voice to move energy through your body, to feel your voice vibrating someplace in your body. And then as you move it and change the pitch, feel the energy moving in your body. It's a whole relationship that if you start to develop, it's wonderful, because you have this another depth to the relationship. You have this, if you start to work with your chakras and you've been imagining them, all of your life, and people who can see, that's great. People like me who can't see, I hear, and I get this black screen when someone says, now imagine this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to see anything. I know it's going to be a black screen of nothing. And it just kind of frustrates me. But for those of us who are listeners, as opposed to seers, that's listening is just a whole lot easier.
So sound really creates this space for miracles and alignment. So
Yes.
the work that you do with the humming, we can literally do this to align our chakras. Explain a little bit more about the chakra alignment.
Okay. So what I discovered is that our voices, the vocal range of our voices, determines the musical key of our body. We all have, our bodies respond to a certain key, and that musical key is based on the range of our voices, because we are made so that within our vocal range, we can hum sounds that redirect energy in our body and help us to heal ourselves. It's just how we're made, right? So being able to do that, if you had been imagining your chakras for years like me and not seeing anything and thinking, oh, this is all a bunch of woo-woo, these things don't exist, because I have no proof whatsoever. I can't see them, I can't feel them, I can't smell them, I can't touch them. What are these chakras, right? Until I decided, if it was real, I should be able to hum a note that it would make me feel it in my body, and then I would believe that it was real. So that's when I started humming around, because I play with sound, right? And I hummed the lowest note I could comfortably hum, and I could feel my root chakra vibrating. And I was like, whoa, these things are real. They do exist. And then I figured out the scale. So you start with that root chakra note that is determined by how low your voice goes comfortably. And then there's a predictable scale. It's a Lydian scale. It's not a major scale. There's one note, when you look at chakra charts and you read about the sounds of the chakras, you always see a C major scale. And that will work for somebody. It'll work for some people whose lowest note they can sing is C. That will work for them. But there's a whole lot of people that won't work for. The major scale part of it, it's only off by a half step of one note. So I think this is just stuff that's been lost in translation over thousands and thousands of years. So we have this chakra chart of the C major scale, and it's a clue. It's a piece of it, but it's not the whole thing. So the scale is a Lydian scale. So a major scale is do, re, mi, fa, sol, right? The Lydian scale, do, re, mi, fi, sol. It's just one note difference. But if you try to use that do for your root chakra, re for your sacral chakra, mi for your solar plexus, fa, you won't feel your heart chakra vibrating. If you hum fa, you got to hum a half step higher, fi, and then you'll feel it. Sol, la, ti. So I figured out everyone has a different starting note, but all of those scales are the same once you find the starting note. And that's pretty exciting, because when you start humming your chakras and you feel them vibrate, you're bringing circulation, you're bringing oxygenation to that area of the body, and you're raising the energy of that gland that is connected to that chakra. And those glands are turning systems on and off in your body all the time. Emotions, fight or flight. I mean, there's way to really balance. Solar plexus has to do with the pancreas gland and so your blood sugar, right? Your throat chakra is your thyroid gland. This is pituitary gland and the pineal gland, and they all do all these things. So when you're vibrating them, you're like saying to the brain, hello, hello, a knock, knock on the door, I'm interested in you. And after you do it for a while, you start to have this a whole different relationship with your body. And you get to feel like you have some control over your health, because you can, if this note here for your throat chakra is F, and this note here is G, and you've got a really clogged sinuses. Well, your sinuses live in between these two chakras. The note between F and G is F sharp. F sharp is going to vibrate this part of your body, and you're going to be able to, drain your sinuses. So knowing your chakra notes gives you access to vibrate all these different parts of your body and send energy to them. So that was the first big class that we did. And then I went one step deeper, because sometimes just humming that chakra isn't enough to really set it straight again, to get it reharmonized, because there's something old and ancient that's stuck in there that's keeping it from really, there's old cellular memory, and maybe there's pain associated with that old cellular memory. It's a pain that you've had forever, and you do many things to try to fix it, and it gets fixed for a while, then it comes back. So you can't fix a physical problem that started on an emotional plane. And so these, when you learn how to hum your chakras, usually just humming them resets them, but sometimes it doesn't, and you have to go deeper. And that's when I found harmonics are the answers to going into all the different energetic planes. We have a chart of these sort of different energetic, harmonic layers. And I have a chart of all of the notes of the chakra scales, of the harmonics of the chakra scales. And there's, I've created these chimed harmonic scales, so we can hum along with them. This is telling you, if you know what your root chakra note is, or if you know what any chakra note is, these are the first 8 harmonics, and how these harmonics correlate to the different sections, the different anatomy, if you will, of our auric field. So the chakra note that's closest to the body there would be on the bottom in the orange line. And when you hum that, you're feeling the physical body vibrate, the cells of the physical body and the etheric body, just a little bit, couple inches out from your body. And then when you move up to the next harmonic, that third harmonic, your energy expands out a little bit farther into your emotional body. And we hum that for 5 times, and then the next harmonic goes to the mental body. The next harmonic vibrates the astral body. Then it vibrates the etheric body, the celestial body, the etheric body. So now you're out at the edge of your auric field, right? So we're working really with the first 8 harmonics that I've recorded for everyone to hum along with. And we're going to do some of that with Loren today. She's agreed to play along with us. So the next chart, Loren, that has to do with the layers of the etheric field, right? So this tells you that first etheric body is the energy that's closest to your body, and that has, when you're humming that, you're doing the physical matter of organs and tissues, right? And then that next area, the emotional body, that's where all the emotional energy lives. And then a little bit further out is the mental body. That's where the mental body lives. A little bit farther out, the astral body. That's the 5th harmonic. And that's like where we make all of our connections to each other, our astral connections. The next body is the etheric template, and that's the blueprint of the physical body. The next one, level 6, is the celestial body, which has a couple of different levels, and this is the spiritual plane of the celestial body, and that helps connect us to the universe. And then there's the etheric body, which is the mental body of that spiritual brain. It's kind of like the outer edge of our egg. And when we hum our root chakra and listen to all of these other harmonics on top of it, we can feel this energy expanding, and we can start to vibrate and release some of that old cellular memory that's stuck in all of those different unconscious planes. I just find this is a really wonderful way to get to that unconscious old stuff that's holding us back.
I just have to say that we are going to do an example for everyone so that they can see the illustration of the point that you're making. And it was really interesting. Let's repeat that when we hum. So when we do this example, I'm going to hum my low note, and the humming of the low note while listening to the harmonic and the different harmonics, it was incredible because I think it was around the mental body and the astral body. I really did begin to feel a vibration in my auric field. So it's interesting. Here you are, we're toning or humming the lowest note that we could tone or hum.
Right, because we're going to do the harmonics of your root chakra.
And
which
so
is,
then explain the harmonics then, what that does when we're listening to one thing and humming the root chakra note.
Okay, let me talk about harmonics, because I forget that people, I mean, I know harmonics because I'm a horn player, but I think of harmonics as full spectrum sound, right? Full spectrum light contains all the colors of the rainbow and the light spectrum. But full spectrum sound is a sound that is rich in harmonics. So what are harmonics? When one note is played and sustained, depending on the resonance of the room, the sound expands. And as it expands, the sound gets fuller, right? Harmonics are, let's call the brother and sister tones that sound along with that main note because they're mathematically related. It's a phenomenon called, physics of sound is called the harmonic series of notes. It's how sound naturally expands. And the more harmonics that are sounding, and the bigger and fuller is the sound, right? So discovering that these harmonics expand and the sound expands the same way our auric field expands was a really big discovery for me. And knowing that that we can vibrate all of these different aspects of the emotional body, and the spiritual body and the mental body, and it just clears things out. I need to. I made a mistake when I first started working with this, because I went to a recording studio and I recorded all of these harmonics. And then I got the email with all of them back for me to test. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take all of my notes. And when I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to put this MP3 on and I'm just going to listen to it. Mostly I was listening for the quality of the sound to make sure, it was going to be pleasing to the ear. And I kind of fell asleep. I woke up the next morning. I was in such a funk. I had listened to the first 16 harmonics of all of my chakras before I went to sleep. And I woke up, I was depressed. I was heavy. I was having suicidal thoughts. This was not me. And and it took me a couple of hours to remember, yeah, I listened to all of the harmonics of all of my chakras last night before I went to sleep. And I woke up in a mess emotionally because so much had been brought up. It was all unconscious, but it had released so much stuff from the auric field that I really had to listen to my chakra sounds again and get myself back grounded and centered. And I had a cry. Just let the feelings go through you. Don't think there's anything wrong with you. If you feel like you need to have a cry, have a cry. You just release it. You're just letting go of it. So this work is really how you get deep, deep, deep into the chakras in a way that you can feel it and experience it in a tangible way, which is so hard for me. If someone just does a guided meditation, I just can't follow it. But when I have a sound to hold on to and connect with, it just makes it so much more real.
Okay. Well, it's fascinating. And you are actually working with this as a course to share this with the world and to teach others. And we're going to talk about that. Let's do this a little experiment. Are we ready? Or do you want to talk about any more of this before we do this example?
You want to do your harmonics of your root chakra now?
Yes, if we're ready.
Okay.
Yes.
All righty. Okay. I'm ready when you are. So basically what Loren's going to do now is she's going to hum her root chakra note. We're going to work with all the harmonics of her root chakra. And as she's humming that, she's going to listen to the chimes of all of the other harmonics. And her voice singing the root chakra with the harmonics of the chimes are going to create these chords, really, that she may be able to feel. And it's going to expand the energy field, and then we'll see, what her experience is. We'll talk to her about that when we finish. It only takes about 4 minutes to do this.
Okay, so to clarify, my note is a G sharp. That's the lowest note I can hum. And these are the harmonics, the D sharp, the G. And so I'm going to continue to hum this same note, but the tones are these harmonics. Okay.
Right, and each harmonic is going to be chimed 5 times up until the 8th harmonic, and then just keep humming that root harmonic as it goes 1 time each through the next 16 up to the 16th harmonic, which takes you outside of your auric field and connects you to everything else. So that's the process. And then I think when we get all the way to the outside of your egg and you hear all the 16 harmonics, then I'm going to bring you back by just taking a high sound, having you kind of pull the energy all back in to finish so that you're not like all wide open.
All right. Well, I'm going to close my eyes then as
Okay.
I listen and hum and feel. Okay.
Okay. So feeling the tissue of that part of your body, the physical matter, and the energy about a couple inches away from your body. That's right. Now, with this sound, it moves into the emotional body. The 3rd harmonic takes you a little bit farther out. And each one of these bodies is chimed 5 times. And now let's see if you can feel the expansion a little bit farther out into the mental body now, where we process our thoughts and our ideas. It doesn't feel as thick as the emotional body. It feels a little bit thinner. It's mental. Then it moves out to the astral body. A little bit more expansion there. This is where we form our connections to others, and this body is like a kind of 4th dimension of time and space. This is where we can move between spirit and matter. Now this expands a little bit farther, the etheric template part of the body, even thinner, the blueprint of the physical body. Farther out, farther out, farther out. Now, this is the celestial body. It's the emotional body of the spiritual plane. It connects us to the universe. This is where we begin to feel oneness. As the final layer, the etheric body, the mental aspect of the spiritual plane, the edge of our golden egg. Okay, just keep humming that. Now we're going to go through the 9th to the 16th harmonics. Okay, now Loren, just start on a high pitch and slide down to that low note. And then feel the energy just coming back. Bring the energy right back in. There we go.
Well, I feel clear. Words. I feel clear. I feel clear. There's no words.
That's the hard part. You ask people to explain it, and you explain the feeling of an energy. It's difficult, but you felt something. And hopefully not because I was just telling you that that's what you were going to feel.
Yes, it feels like my whole body is buzzing, and it feels as if there's a clarity, there's a freshness, there's a vibrancy. You know, everyone's note is different, and the harmonics, like we saw on the slide. So for example, here I was singing G sharp, and it's when I think it was maybe the C, it just felt so natural. Or maybe it was a C or the D sharp. There was something that brought in the clarity that I could feel.
Now, what you may have some feelings following this later on today, tomorrow. Remember that we did this and that there's nothing wrong with you, that some feelings might come up and they don't come up at any specific time. It's different. They all, you know, your body has its own rhythm. Sometimes it's when you do it, you feel sad. Sometimes it's hours later. Sometimes it's days later, but the energy gets processed according to your ability to process it.
You're actually going to teach people how to do this and how to do it for others. But there was this vibrancy when you can feel the lowest note, but then you're hearing the other note. Again, I just have to say that that was felt in a very interesting way. It felt very whole. Felt very whole.
That's a good. When we're really expanding our knowledge of ourselves. You know, by feeling ourselves out here, by feeling ourselves in these different planes. Like when I get to the sort of astral body, everything changes. And then when you go from there into the spiritual bodies and the etheric bodies, and it just feels like I become less and less a person, an ego, and more a spirit connected to everything else.
Well, let's talk about your course, because again, this is your life's work. And congratulations on your new book, Your Life's Work as well. And now this is teaching others the power of this. So as we get there, I just want to ask real quick, how often should we do this?
Right. Well, daily, I listen to the chakra scale and hum the chakra scale, just, up and down. And usually that's enough to kind of keep me calm. And the advantage too, we didn't talk about this, of the etheric field and strengthening the etheric field. Of that etheric field it's like our first defense against any negative energy, right? As we walk through the world and we walk through negative energy, if our shell is permeable and not strong, we get affected by all of the emotions and all of the negative energy that we're walking through. When you have a strong etheric field, biofield, auric field, you can walk through chaos and just stay calm because your egg is holding you, right? So yeah, the class is, a lot of people have done it's an 8-week course. And the first week is really just figuring out what your root chakra sound is and teaching you how to hum your scale. That's the first week. And then the second week through the 7th week, we have like one class a week where, we all meet on Zoom. We'd start to do a deep dive into each of the chakras 1 week at a time. So the second week is the root chakra. The third week is the sacral chakra. And what we do during those classes are listen to and hum along the harmonics of the chakras like we just did with Loren. We might do it 2 or 3 times as opposed to just once, because sometimes you need to do it a couple of times to really, the more you do it, the more the experience becomes tangible. And so it's an 8-week course, but some people have already taken the first week. So I've divided it up into level 1 and level 2, right? So level 1 is just the first week where you learn your chakra scale. And then so if you've already learned your chakra scale, you don't have to do week 1 and you just pay for level 2, right? So level 2 then is 1 week each on each chakra, where we listen to those harmonics every day, once a day. And then at the end of the week, and we journal. What came up? What did I feel? And then when we get together at the next class, the first thing we do is talk about everyone's experiences, what they learned, what they felt, and then we do the harmonics meditation for the next chakra. And doing each chakra like this from the root to the crown over a 2-month period is really a great way to clear things out and have it hold, to really get a good foundation, a good strong auric field. So that's what this is all about, and moving the energy in your body with your voice.
We're going to do some humming because that is something that allows all of us to really feel the power of our voice. And we can come back and talk more about how people can work with you and ways that this course actually helps them help others. It's almost a deep education in a way, and a certification of completion comes with this course as well. So yes, tell us about humming.
Okay, humming is like something that we do for ourselves. Humming is toning, for us. We don't ever perform a hum. We don't, we might hum for an infant, in our arms to soothe them, but mostly humming is just for us. It's a sound that we have to help calm ourselves. And if you get it, that's kind of just humming 101. But if you spend as much time humming as I have, there's lots of variations on a hum that you probably have never considered. So first, when you hum, you're going to feel the vibration in your throat. I mean, that's where your vocal cords are. That's easy. All right, so first, let's just start humming a note kind of in the middle of your vocal range and feel that vibration right there in the throat. That's just step 1, just hum and feel the power of your vibration in your throat. So pick a note and just concentrate and feel it there. Okay. Now, if we change the vowel sound that we're using, we can direct the sound down into the body or up into the head. Down into the body, and the bones then conduct the sound energy all throughout the body. So if we hum that note, open up the back of our throat and go to like an kind of a sound, you should be able to feel the energy coming out of your throat and moving down into your body. So you should feel the energy go. So just try a vowel sound. And see if you don't feel the energy going downward. Into your body. Now change the to an E. Stay on the same note. But you can see how the sound goes up. It sends the sound up into your head. Okay, so those are ways of directing the sound with different vowel sounds. Also, we have a tooth chart. I created a chart that tells you what glands are connected to what teeth, so that as you're humming, if you vibrate teeth, you are now sending the energy directly into, that chakra or that gland. So the pineal gland, the front 4 teeth on the top, that's your crown chakra. So, right. So when you're humming your crown chakra note, you're trying to send the energy to the front of your mouth. Put your teeth really close together and try to feel your teeth vibrate. So let's pick a note in the middle of our range, right? And we're going to try to hum all of the energy into the front of the mouth and put your teeth really close together and see if you can feel your teeth vibrating. Okay? Take a note. Try to feel the vibration of your teeth. They're just barely touching. Were you able to feel that, Loren? Get the teeth vibrating? Okay. Because the teeth are connected to all the meridians in the body, right? When you vibrate specific teeth, the energy goes into those meridians and help those systems. Okay. And then humming, let's see, I was humming 102. This is humming 103. Flaring the nostrils and opening the ears. So your throat is kind of like you're saying E, and you can feel that opens the back of the throat into the ears, E. But if you, and then you kind of flare your nostrils, and you're going to feel it very differently. When you do that, you're going to feel your whole head vibrating. So try that. You're going to E and flare your nostrils, okay? Yes, it tickles.
Yeah, it tickles.
So they're just all these sort of different levels to humming, the things that you can do. But let's right now start with the lowest note that we can comfortably sing and hum slowly up and try to feel how your voice is pulling the energy up as you raise the pitch. So it's going to sound like this. Just like that. Start with a low note, feel it vibrate somewhere in your body, wherever it vibrates, feel it, and then try to raise that feeling by raising the pitch of your voice. Could you feel the energy moving?
Yes, it's an awareness now of the voice and the energy. Yes, okay.
Connection between the two. There is a very important connection between the voice, the ear, and the brain. It's called the voice-ear-brain connection. The sounds that come out of our voice our frequency biofeedback information to the brain through the ear about the health of the body. The state of our health is in the sound of our voice. And our voice, as heard through the ear to the brain, is telling the brain the state of our health at that moment. Very important connection. The voice has the ability to inform the brain, and the voice has the ability to move energy and change it in the body. And that's what my work is all about.
Yes, a pioneer in sound with this humming. All right. I'd love for you to share more about this course and the importance of it. This is for every person, those who want to learn more about the power of our own voice in helping ourselves stay healthy and clean and clear and come out of the muck and basically raise our vibration. So you've put this course together to really help people take it out into the world. And so this is perfect even for practitioners who would love to add this to their repertoire.
Right. So if you're an energy worker, and you want another tool for your toolbox, that is for the people who can't see the things you're telling them to imagine. This is the tool for that when you're dealing with people who are sound oriented as opposed to visually oriented. And we're all sort of hardwired for one or the other. At birth, we're hardwired either for sight to be our dominant sense or for hearing to be our dominant sense. Hearing kind of goes along with touch, hearing and touch. So people who are dominant in hearing, they're also touchy-feely people. And the visual people are very thoughtful. They're thinkers, right? But we're hardwired from birth to do one or the other. And this is, if you are someone who's more of a hearing person, then this is a technique that will really speak, to these people. And that's what you need to do, right? You just need to be able to, as an energy worker, you need to be able to meet a person where they're at and raise them to the next level. So taking this course is going to let you, let's see, some of the things that, some of the advantages, to doing this humming work. It creates nitric oxide, which will, in your nasal passages and sinuses, and nitric oxide has been shown to stop the replication of severe coronavirus syndrome. I mean, there are studies on this. So humming clears out the sinuses and brings in all the good energy to kill germs. It lowers the deep breathing, lowers your blood pressure. It will help you with insomnia. If you know the note of your crown chakra is connected to your pineal gland. Your pineal gland makes melatonin and serotonin. If you need to sleep more, you know the note of your crown chakra, you can hum it, tell the brain to make more melatonin, more serotonin, calm you down, put you to sleep. So there's a million different physical benefits of being able to control your thyroid, to activate an underactive thyroid, to help your digestion by humming your solar plexus and your pancreas gland, calming your adrenals down by, your root chakra. There's just so many advantages to doing this and working with all kinds of parts of the body with your voice.
So when you say humming your chakras, again, it's based off the lowest note that you can sing, right? And so that scale, is it like the regular scale? As
Yeah,
it goes up?
most of the books say that it's a major scale, but it really isn't. That doesn't get the heart chakra vibrating. It's a Lydian scale. It's like just one half step difference. So instead of the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, a Lydian scale is do, re, mi, fi, sol. The difference between fa and fi, it's really small. But if you try humming fa, you won't feel your heart chakra vibrate. You have to hum fi in order to get that. So it's a Lydian scale, but it's the same. I mean, the Lydian scale is the same for everyone. It just got a different starting note.
All right. Fascinating, truly fascinating that we could hum our way to health. This is a beautiful course, a beautiful way for people to advance their study of sound and health in their own practice, in their own service work on the planet. I want to thank you so much for this, Kathleen. Is there anything else you'd like to add about really why you've created this course and how you see it helping the world?
I created the course because for 20 years I worked with sound and healing and bioacoustics, uh, which is the study of the sounds that human beings make and how that frequency information goes to the brain. And if you have a frequency map of the body, you can, you can figure out what frequencies in a voice print don't have enough energy and how to hum those frequencies and listen to those frequencies and re-energize those parts of your body. And that I found was excellent for physical injuries. All kinds of physical injuries and ailments can be dealt with bioacoustics. It's amazing. But every now and then I'd get a client who it'd get better, and then it would go back to the way it was. And then it would do more, it would get better, and wouldn't last. And that's when I realized I needed a way to get to the root of the problem. And those sounds that we were using in bioacoustics only got to the physical dimension. And we had to get behind the physical dimension to the emotional, where some of that stuff originated. And now it's stuck in your cellular memory and it's causing pain and sleepless nights. But you can vibrate it away. You can literally dissipate it and dissolve it with the sound of your voice and the.
Isn't that amazing? It is the multidimensional clearing with sound using our own voice. So when we use this sound in our own life, I love that you say take a journal and take notes on what the experience is. I'll let you know, Kathleen, what this was like for me. And we invite those who resonate with this, you know, within your soul, within your physical being, whether this is right for you. If it is, you can get started right away. Kathleen, thank you so much for this. We are looking forward to it. Anything else you'd like to share?
Keep listening. Just keep listening. It's all about listening. Listen, trust, act, follow the flow.
That is the way we move on New Earth. The link for this course is on this webpage, and we invite you to check it out and learn more and join Kathleen in this upcoming course, recorded if you can't join live. Thank you. Thanks, Kathleen.